Hare Krishna.
Govinda Das. I'm the MI coordinator for this particular batch. And so I would like to take this opportunity of welcoming you for this session, Maharaj. I'm sure all the students within the batch have benefited from your teaching in the past, but I take the opportunity of just giving a short introduction about Maharaj. Uh, Maharaj is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He met Prabhupada and got initiated from Srila Prabhupada in London in 1971. And immediately a year after that, he got a second initiation also. Maharaj has been preaching for the past many decades in various Asian countries, including India, Philippines, China, and Thailand. Throughout these years of preaching, he has given countless souls practical guidance and deep inspiration. He took sannyasa in the year 1994 from His Holiness Samar Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And since then, he's been strictly following the various sadhanas. Whoever gets to know Maharaj admires and respects his sincerity and the faithful practice of chanting of the holy name. He truly walks his talk. Maharaj has been teaching at MI right from his inception. In fact, I myself have been benefited by his immense learning, teaching right through my Bhakti Shastri and beyond also. In fact, next week also, Maharaj is going to be our faculty in one of the other courses. So Maharaj, I take this opportunity of welcoming you for this group. The group has about 8 to 10 members, and if you need any assistance on an ongoing basis with regard to any technology support or anything, one of the students, one of the devotees can pitch in. I understand Vrindavani Mataji will be helping you with regard to any technical support you may require. And beyond that, there are specific devotees who have been assigned the roles to take mark attendance and other aspects, Maharaj. If anything you require me on an ongoing basis also, you can just request any of the devotees. I'll be happy to assist you in any manner, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu. Very kind of you to offer so much facility for me. And I'm very grateful to you for that. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the class here. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shavakaya Chaksur Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, good evening to everyone, and I'm happy to have this opportunity to go through this fourth canto section. We're dealing with the chapters, beginning chapter 20 of the fourth canto. Is that right? And we'll be going up to chapter number 23.
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you. All right, so chapter 20, Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Prithu. So you'll remember from chapter 19 what had happened there, that how there'd been Maharaj Prithu performing his horse sacrifices, and it was something of a competition going on between Maharaj Prithu and Indra. Indra, the king of heaven, had performed 100 horse sacrifices. So Maharaj Prithu had performed 99 sacrifices. And Indra became worried that he would lose his position to Maharaj Prithu. So Indra managed to steal away the horse, which was meant for the sacrifice. So this is what happened, and here we have this chapter beginning. Maitreya is saying, my dear Vidur, being very much satisfied by the performance of 99 horse sacrifices, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, appeared on the scene. Accompanying him was King Indra. Lord Vishnu then began to speak. And so, Lord Vishnu was satisfied with the 99 offerings. He was not so much worried that he had to have 100 offerings. Although Indra had managed to perform 100 offerings, 100 sacrifices. Now we can see the mood in the heavenly planets that even in heaven there's sometimes this kind of tension and this concern. Someone's better, someone's doing more, someone's got a better position or a higher position. There's not that perfect satisfaction there. Although it's the heavenly planets, and certainly everyone who's there have performed a number of pious deeds in order to get into that heavenly position. But still, there are some problems. They have some problems. It's still the material world, although they're predominantly situated in the mode of goodness, but still they have their problems. And we'll be hearing a little bit about them here. They have problems, they have good qualities, but they have their faults also. So the chapter comes up about like this. Lord Vishnu's come along with King Indra, and they've come to see Maharaj Prithu. So Lord Vishnu says to Maharaj Prithu that Indra, the king of heaven, has disturbed your execution of 100 sacrifices. Now he's come with me to be forgiven by you. Therefore excuse him. And so this is the interesting situation here, that Lord Vishnu is coming to beg Maharaj Prithu to forgive or to excuse Indra from stealing away your horse and causing you not to be able to compete this 100th sacrifice. I mean, you could imagine what it must have been like. You know, we just like people play cricket and you get to 99 runs and then you'd be very anxious to get the 100 runs. And indeed, if they get the 100 runs, then it's appreciated and they'll get applause and, you know, congratulations, you got a century. So similarly here, Maharaj Prithu, he wanted to have 100 sacrifices, but Indra had crushed his attempt to do that. But now, Indra's repenting a little bit, and he's come along with Lord Vishnu, and he's asking Maharaj Prithu to excuse him. In other words, he wants him to forgive him. So it's an interesting situation, and forgiveness is something which is important. It's a devotional quality. You can see here in the purport, text number 3, at the end of the purport, it is said that forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. To be able to forgive someone is an indication that you are advancing in spiritual knowledge. There was another situation you may remember from the third canto where the quality of forgiveness was displayed. Do any of you remember, can you think of some other incidents where devotees had to show that forgiving quality? Put it open to the class. Yes, somebody has their hand up. Maharaji?
Lord Shiva forgave Daksha.
He forgave Daksha. Did he forgive him?
Well, he punished him just so that he could learn a lesson. But he was never really angry in the beginning. But Daksha offered prayers, and Lord Shiva says, you know, it's fine. I'll grant you a head, and please behave yourself as you go forward.
I grant you a what?
I'm not sure whether he exactly grants forgiveness, but from his mood, it seemed that Lord Shiva was, you know, forgave him for his misbehavior with him.
Certainly got punished, didn't he? He got his head replaced with the head of a goat. Was it? Was that the incident?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisances.
Yeah.
Maharaj, we see in the first canto, Draupadi forgiving Ashwadhama, despite him killing her 5 sons who were sleeping actually.
Oh.
She still, yeah?
Yes, right. Draupadi. What was her reason for forgiving him?
One of the reasons she states that is that she is also a mother of 5 children and she was in tears and she didn't want the wife of a Brahmana to be in tears in the same way as she is feeling for her children. This was one of the reasons.
Yes, right. Her sons had all been killed and she thought, I know what it's like. I don't want her to have to go through what I'm going through. And so yes, that quality, that was there in Draupadi. That was one example. Yes? Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandot Pranams. Maharaj, in the third canto, we again see the example of the Lord coming out of the doors of Vaikuntha to ask forgiveness from the Kumaras on behalf of the offense that was committed by Jaya and Vijaya, and asking them to forgive them for their intrusions.
Yes, right. That's an interesting one. Yeah. The Lord came personally to beg forgiveness for Jai and Vijay, that they had obstructed the 4 Kumaras. And so the Lord personally came and begged forgiveness on their behalf. Yes, thank you. Okay, is there another one? Anyone else?
Krishna Maharaj is Giri Gopal Das from Malaysia. Yes, there is one incident that Brahma asked to forgive from Lord Shiva, asked forgive all these devas and all that, in the beginning of 4th canto.
Okay. Yeah, there was another one which I just recently came across in the 3rd canto. It was describing about, it was Parashara Muni. Do you remember that one?
Yes, Parashara Muni forgiving Pulastya.
Yes, right. Yeah, do you remember the whole incident? Somebody had killed Parashara's father.
The demons, you know.
Right. So, what Parashara wanted to do a yagya to kill the demons, right? And then Vashishta came, and Vashishta begged Parashara Muni that, please don't do this. This is not very proper to do this, to kill all the demons. One demon has killed your father, you want to kill all the demons. This is not very good, not proper behavior. Please forgive them. Please forgive, be forgiving. So Vishista, being senior and very worthy of respect, so Parashara listened to the words of Vashishta and he stopped the sacrifice. And so he was very pleased with Parashara and he gave him a benediction. Do you remember? Gir Gopal, do you remember what benediction he got?
I'm not very sure. I'm confused about two other benedictions from different incident, Maharaj. I'm not really sure about it.
No, well, as I remember, he was given the benediction that he would be a great preacher, that he would preach nicely. That blessing was given to him because he had shown the quality of forgiveness. And that quality of forgiveness is considered a quality of a Brahmana. Okay, so this quality of forgiveness is mentioned here also. And who's forgiving who? In this situation, who is required to be forgiving?
The
Prithvi
demon.
Maharaj.
Huh?
Prithvi Maharaj to be forgiving Indra.
Who is going to forgive Indra?
Prithu Maharaj.
Prithu Maharaj, right. Prithu Maharaj he's requested to show the quality of forgiveness, right. If one is actually on the transcendental platform, then we should be forgiving. We shouldn't mind. Because what's happening, somebody is insulting, somebody is not treating you well, but that's on the bodily platform. That's in relation to the material body. It's simply a material activity. We shouldn't be worried by it. We shouldn't take it very seriously. And Prabhupada writes at the end of the purport, text 2, the body is only a superficial covering. Consequently, an advanced transcendentalist will not make a distinction between oneself and another. Then text number 3 goes on, an advanced human being is never malicious to others. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from the soul. And so when people are doing harm and giving us trouble, it's all in relation to the body. No one can harm the soul. So we have to learn to be tolerant, right? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, tolerant like the tree. And so that kind of forgiveness is important. And when we have that kind of tolerance, like a tree, then we will be able to forgive. And we see how the trees are tolerant, how they forgive. People come, cut them, but still they continue to give shelter and they give fruits and so on. So this is an important point which comes up at the beginning of this chapter, that Maharaj Prithu is encouraged not to take the dealings of Indra too seriously. Don't be too much disturbed by what's been happening. Okay. And Lord Vishnu goes on warning Maharaj Prithu, if a personality like you, who are so much advanced because of executing the instructions of the previous acharyas, is carried away by the influence of my material energy, then all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time. So that's quite heavy words coming from the Lord. He's saying, you know, all your advancement will be considered simply a waste of time. So our behavior, how important behavior is, we have to learn to be fixed on the transcendental platform and not to be disturbed by things. One time Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture, and somebody, in the middle of the lecture, someone stood up and began to hurl abuse at Srila Prabhupada. And then the man who hurled the abuse, then he turned and walked out. And Srila Prabhupada simply looked and said, I must have offended him in my previous life. So Srila Prabhupada was being tolerant. He didn't take the man too seriously. He simply understood must be some karmic thing, some reaction from previous life. So Prithu Maharaj was certainly trained in the parampara system, and so it's certainly his duty to be tolerant and to show saintly qualities. And later on we will see actually how much the Lord appreciates Prithu Maharaj's behavior. The behavior of the devotees, very, very, very important, right? We all have a responsibility to behave nicely, to present the Krishna consciousness movement. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada had to deal with complaints, especially in relation to our Sankirtan tactics. Some people would become offended and they would write complaining. And Prabhupada would write back to them. Prabhupada would give them a reply. And he would also apologize to them. And at the same time, he would also try to encourage the person who was complaining that they should be forgiving, that they shouldn't take it too seriously, but they should see the higher principle that the devotees have sacrificed their life for the service of Krishna, and that they were distributing books not for their own benefit, but with the purpose of trying to benefit others. So like that. Okay, so going ahead, talking about those who are in full knowledge of the bodily concept of life, know that the body is made of nescience, desires, and activities. Do not become addicted to the body. So, we're getting powerful instructions here that we shouldn't be attached to the bodily concept of life. So, Srila Prabhupada's purport continue in that vein, that performing activities, they should be done for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. And Prithu Maharaj was performing sacrifices. They should be done for the pleasure of Vishnu, not for his own satisfaction. So that idea of doing 100 sacrifices, that's more for his pleasure. It's not going to give pleasure to Lord Vishnu. Whether you did 99 or 100 doesn't make any difference to Lord Vishnu. And whatever we do, it should be done for Lord Vishnu. So, Maharaj Prithu is being corrected. You shouldn't be too much attached to wanting to do 100 sacrifices, because you're doing it for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu, and he doesn't mind if you do 99 or 100. It's not going to make a big difference to him. So in this way, Maharaj Prithu is encouraged to give up his material attachment. And then Prabhupada goes on talking about the Vedas and performing material activities, because that's what the Vedas mainly deal with. Rise above the modes, Trigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vedas deal with the three modes of nature. Rise above the modes, be transcendental to all of them, be free from all dualities. So the Lord continues instructing Maharaj Prithu, how can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for the bodily conception of life be affected by the bodily conception in regard to house, children, wealth, and other bodily productions? That a person's actually trained in spiritual knowledge, then he has to detach himself from the material situation. We have to apply the knowledge which we have received. We shouldn't maintain material attachment. So Prabhupada writes about Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, how people usually perform ritualistic ceremonies. They're interested in sense gratification. Right? He says, materialists who are especially interested in sense gratification are given permission or license to enjoy sense gratification by executing the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. That is called Trigunya Vishaya Veda. Right? The Vedas, so the Vedas, dealing with the three modes of material nature, they're offering material facilities to people. You can enjoy the material world, right? But that is not the ultimate purpose of the Vedas. But that is one purpose, that is there. But there's another side to the Vedic performance also. And on the higher platform, people can perform Vedic ritualistic ceremonies for the transcendental service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is called nice Trigunya. That means above the three modes of material nature. Devotional service to the Lord has nothing to do with the material conception of life. So performing devotional service is meant to be done simply for the pleasure of Krishna. We don't do it for our own satisfaction. And pure devotional service is not done the purpose shouldn't be just to nullify our sinful activities. We should perform devotional service simply for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, the Lord is encouraging that Maharaj Prithu has to come to that standard, that the actual standard of pure devotion. Of course, he's a great devotee, he is, but for the sake of instruction, this is all being told to him. Maharaj Prithu, he is a Shaktavesha avatar, right? He's the empowered personality. He's able to perform wonderful service for the Lord, performing nice sacrifices. All right, so then chapter goes on discussing the nature of the soul, coming to the transcendental platform. Important point is made that by knowledge one will come to devotion. So people have to have transcendental knowledge. If they can get a good understanding of the spiritual aspect of life, then it will make it much easier for them to take up the path of devotion. Their yoga ladder is also there. We know from the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna described the yoga ladder and how generally people begin with karma kanda and then come to karma yoga and then jnana yoga and then dhyana yoga and then bhakti yoga. So if one has knowledge, certainly that transcendental knowledge can help one to become devotee. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna described 4 kinds of people who will come to him, right? Chatur vida bhajanti mam jnana sukritino arjuna arto jignasur artarti jnani cha bharatashaba. 4 reasons why people come to Krishna consciousness. And of these 4 reasons, the 4 kinds of people, who is the best one? The best?
Jnani Maharaj.
Huh?
The Jnani Maharaj.
Yes, the Jnani, the one who comes in search of knowledge. Why is he the best? Why would the Jnani?
But he wants to know the Lord.
He's beyond the material conceptions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beyond the material conception. Yeah, he's not a...
Sticks around.
Yes?
Sticks. Whereas someone who might want wealth, they'll get wealth and then they'll just leave once they've got what they need. But the Jnani sticks around.
Yes, that's also true, right. Other people...
It's also beyond 3 modes nature, Maharaj.
Yes, beyond the 3 modes of nature, yeah. And what does the Lord Krishna say about them once they come, the Jnani? Do they make advancement very quickly?
No, after many, many births.
Right.
Bahunam Janmanam.
Yes, right. Yeah, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, usually if you just come by the path of knowledge, then their advancement can take longer. Lord Krishna says, as Maharaji quotes, after many births and deaths, one who is actually in knowledge surrenders to me. Such a soul is very rare. So people come to that platform. Samahatmasu durlabha. They become Mahatmas, devotees. The devotees are all Mahatmas. Prabhupada was quoting the verse, Mahatmanas tumam partha. And Prabhupada said, devotees, you are all Mahatmas. Because you're engaged in chanting the holy name and doing devotional service. So you're Mahatmas. So by the path of knowledge, you can come to bhakti, but generally it takes a longer time. You may be lucky, it may come quick, but usually it takes longer. So you can see in text number 8, it says, although within the material nature, one who is thus situated in full knowledge of the Paramatma and Atma is never affected by the modes of material nature, for he is always situated in my transcendental loving service. So that is the benefit of getting full knowledge. Then you come to transcendental loving service, hopefully. So even though we're in the material world, we're not caught up in the material world. We're above the modes of nature. The example is given about the lotus flower. The lotus flower sits on the water, not actually in the water, but on the water. So in a similar way, the devotee is not actually under the modes of nature. He's above the modes of nature because he's engaged in pure, loving service for the pleasure of Krishna. All right, so Prabhupada quotes 1426 from Bhagavad Gita, that just by engaging in devotional service, you immediately come to the level of Brahman. And then he also quotes Rupa Goswami. If we're engaged in the service with the body, words, and mind, then he is considered liberated. There's a verse, Ihayasya haredashi karmana manasagira nikilaspat piyavastastu jivan mukta sa uchate. So jivan mukta, a liberated soul, one who uses the body, mind and words in the service of the Lord, he is liberated. Even in this very lifetime, he's considered a liberated soul, because he's engaged in devotional service. So you can be Jivan Mukta in this very lifetime. So the Lord continues to instruct Maharaj Prithu. When situated in his occupational duty, engages in my loving service without motive for material gain, he gradually becomes very satisfied within. So Lord Vishnu is describing the important characteristics there in performing service for him and serving the Supreme Lord, that there should not be motive for material gain. Of course, usually material world, everyone is very motivated. They're very karmic people. We're always interested. We want to know what's in it for me. What are you going to give me? What am I going to get? We want to know what's the reward. So here, the Lord is saying we should not be motivated for any material gain. In Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, it's also described like that, right? Savai pum samparo dharmo yato bhaktir adhoksan ahaitaki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So it's similar, this verse is similar to what was stated there in the second chapter of the first canto by Sutta Goswami. Here, Lord Vishnu is saying similar, that we should engage in the Lord's service without material motive, and then we'll gradually become very satisfied within. To satisfy the soul, we have to give up material desires. Right? Material desires burn like lust. They're never satisfied. So it's very important for us. Prabhupada writes in the purport here, discharging one's occupational duty as a means of rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of the Bhagavad Gita, is the ultimate goal of life. Bhagavad Gita confirms this as the process of karma yoga, right? Karma yoga. This, of course, we've studied that in Bhagavad Gita. What the main principle of karma yoga? How would you, how would you describe karma yoga to someone?
Discharging one's occupational duty as a means to please the Supreme Personality Godhead.
Yes. A little more though.
And not to be attached to the result also.
Right, yes, that's important. That detachment from the results, right? That is the essential characteristic of karma yoga. Of course, you've got different levels of karma yoga. You've got sakama karma yoga and niskam karma yoga. So you've got sakama karma yoga, karma yoga with attachment. But you're attached to the work. Some people are just attached to the work. Generally, that's what happens in karma yoga. People are attached to working in a particular way. I have to be the cook, or I have to do the kirtan, or something like that, or I have to be the accountant. We're attached to doing a particular duty, a particular service for the Lord. And at the same time, we're willing to give up the results. But we're pretty much attached to working in a particular way. How is it described in Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga? Give me some verses from Bhagavad Gita about Karma Yoga.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhosi dadasi.
Translation?
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever tapasya you do, you do it as an offering to me.
Yes, Tat Kurushva Mad Arpanam, offering everything to Lord Krishna, right? Why did Lord Chaitanya reject that when it was spoken by Ramananda Roy? Lord Chaitanya asked Ramananda Roy to give a verse about the ultimate principles of religion. So when Ramananda Roy quoted this verse, Lord Chaitanya, he said, no, go higher.
It is external.
No, that was Varnashram, was external. But Karma Yoga, performance of Karma Yoga, why did Lord Chaitanya reject that?
Is it because it's done out of duty and not love?
Yes, actually Lord Chaitanya wanted to hear about bhakti. He didn't want to hear about Karma Yoga. He wanted to hear about Bhakti Yoga. He wanted to know about something higher than Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, people may sacrifice the result. They don't know who God is, they just do it, A lot of people do Karma Yoga, they're just pious. And you get a lot of impersonalists, Mayavadis doing Karma Yoga also. It's not just only bhakti, there's not a lot of bhakti there in Karma Yoga. There may be, but there doesn't have to be. Lord Chaitanya wanted to hear about bhakti when he asked Ramananda Roy. And so when Ramananda Roy quoted that verse, Lord Chaitanya said, no, go higher. Because people come, Karma Yoga, do Karma Yoga, they have no idea who God is. Give it, offer to Ganesh, offer to Shiva, offer to this one, offer to that one. They don't really know anything. The nature of Karma Yoga is there's no real knowledge there. So anyway, here the Lord is encouraging Maharaj Prithu that he should engage in service without motivation for material gain. And that is karma yoga. You're not worried about what you're going to get. You're ready to give the results. And in Bhagavad Gita, the well-known verse for karma yoga, karmani evadi karaste, mapaleshu kadachana, right? You have a right to do your duty. Arjuna, your adhikar, your qualification is to work. People like that part of the verse. They're happy to hear that part where Lord Krishna says your qualification is to work. But when we say ma pali shu kadachana, they don't like that part so much. Oh, you have to give the fruit. You know, we like to think I'm doing karma yoga, my work is karma yoga. But karma yoga means to sacrifice the results of the work. Okay. Prabhupada describes in that purport, he said, in other words, we should act only for the satisfaction and service of the Lord. Otherwise, we will be entangled by the resultant actions. So acting for the satisfaction and service of the Lord. Then later on in this purport, text number 9, Prabhupada talks about how devotional service is very simple. He said devotional service is very simple and anyone can adopt it. Let one remain what he is. He need only install the deity of the Lord in his house. The deity may be Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayan. There are many forms of the Lord. In this way, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra can worship the deity with the results of his honest labor. Regardless of one's occupational duty, one should adopt the devotional means of hearing and chanting, etc. In this way, one can very easily engage himself in the service of the Lord. And when the Lord is pleased with one's service, one's mission in life is fulfilled. So one point I notice here in that section, Prabhupada said anyone can worship the deity. He doesn't just say only the Brahmanas should worship the deity. He mentioned the 4 different divisions of society, includes Vaishya and Sudra, and they can all worship the deity. So, how do you any comments on that?
But they have to have proper training and qualify themselves, Maharaj.
Well, Prabhupada said it's very simple. Anyone can adopt it. There's no mention about you have to have proper training and everything. He said, regardless of one's occupational duty, one can very easily engage himself. And Prabhupada said, for example, Gaur-Nitai can be worshipped simply by kirtan. You know? So, do we need to know everything and all the things which the Brahmanas do? Is it just simply for Brahmanas to worship the deities? Where are the Brahmanas in the Kali Yuga anyway? There are no real Brahmanas in the Kali Yuga. Prabhupada saying devotional service is very simple. Any comments, anyone? How do you feel about that? Do you agree or?
Agree, Maharaj.
Maharaj. In 9th chapter also, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. one offers me with love. Devotion.
Yes, well, Patram Pushpampalam, that doesn't mean that you should just offer, you may be a rich man and you just offer very basic things, right? that wouldn't be so good. We should worship according to our means. And if somebody is more qualified, okay, you can do more. But it's not that anybody's doing anything wrong.
Maharaj, is it because um, the deities, the Lord in the deity form is merciful, and he has manifested in that form in order to accept the service of the devotees. And therefore, these rules and regulations do not really become a hurdle or an impediment in the execution of deity worship. Would that be the reason?
Well, maybe. It may be. I mean, Prabhupada certainly wasn't too much concerned about all the different rules and regulations and rituals. He kept everything very basic and simple. When we brought deities and so on, when the deities were installed. I guess Prabhupada at the same time, he encouraged that as the society would grow, that we would become more sophisticated and more expert in performing the different rituals of deity worship. But how much is expected for someone at home? You have a deity at home. Many people do. Have their own deities in the house. What kind of standards are they expected to have? Important things are the devotion, cleanliness, punctuality. These things, Prabhupada stressed over that, the principles of cleanliness and punctuality. He liked that. He was always concerned that worship should be on time, the deity greeting should be very punctual. And cleanliness also was Prabhupada was also very, very concerned about that. Prabhupada was meticulously clean. And he was also very concerned that our deity worship would be very clean, where everything would be very paka. Kartal should be nicely cleaned, and the arctic paraphernalia should be gleaming and shining, regularly polished, these kinds of things. Some people give more attention to mantras, and they never polish the paraphernalia. Okay, we'll go ahead. Text number 10. Prabhupada's talking about the Mayavadis and how their concept of Kaivalya is different from the Vaishnavas. So Kaivalya, concept of oneness. But we understand oneness and different. Oneness in desire, but different personalities. And then text 11 describes about liberation. Realizing the difference between the body and the soul. The soul is called Dehi, and one who possesses the body, the material body, is Deha, or the embodiment of the soul. Now this is a very basic point, and Prabhupada lectured on this point again and again. The difference between the body and the soul, that we're not the body. He lectured on this point so many times because it's so basic, but at the same time it's so important that everything depends on it. We want to understand Krishna. How can we ever understand the Supreme Absolute Truth if we've not understood our own self? We have not realized our own identity yet. How can we realize the personality of Godhead? So understanding our own self as a spiritual being, this is important. The change, the soul is called kutastam. The soul is fixed, it's called kutastam. The body is changing at every moment. So we have to learn to tolerate these different changes of the material world. Prabhupada talks about happiness and distress. Certainly we are easily affected. Something goes well for us, we rejoice, and when things go wrong, we lament. So hankering and lamenting, that's the nature of the body, the material world. And we want to transcend the material body. So we should not be disturbed by all the different goings on of the material elements. And how we can do that? How can we come to that level, to be indifferent to all of these things? Prabhupada said the practical process to attain this stage of indifference is to execute devotional service. We want to become indifferent to the pleasures and pains of the material world. We just simply have to increase our devotional service. Prabhupada continues, only one who constantly engages in devotional service 24 hours a day can be indifferent to the action and reaction of the eternal body. So devotional service, you can see it's a full-time commitment. How is it possible 24 hours a day? Well, we just simply dedicate everything to Krishna. We eat for the pleasure of Krishna, and we sleep so that we can do service for Krishna the next day. Everything is done in relation to serving Krishna. So 24 hours a day, everything. We work in a job, we do it for the pleasure of Krishna. No, it's not that we have to just simply stop everything and just sit and chant Hare Krishna 24 hours a day. We cannot imitate Haridas Thakur, but we can follow the example, try to dedicate ourselves fully to Krishna. Prabhupada continues, when a man is absorbed in a particular thought, he does not hear or see any external activities, even though they are enacted in his presence. Similarly, those who are fully absorbed in devotional service do not care what is going on with the external body. That status is called samadhi. One who is actually situated in samadhi is understood to be a first-class yogi. We give the example was, I think it was Stalin. Stalin, that great leader, the ruler at one point of the USSR, Stalin, he had to have a surgical operation. And he did not want to have an anesthetic. So he had them do the surgical operation while he was subconscious. And he was conscious and he held a gun in his hand the whole time. And if they did anything wrong, it'd kill him. But he went through the whole operation, the whole surgery, without an anesthetic. And so that is the point is being brought out here, that somebody is in devotion, doing devotional service, they're not conscious of what's going on with the external body. The external body may be subject to so many pains and pleasures, but he's not disturbed by it. Can you think of some examples of this from the scriptures? Have we got some examples of this in our scriptural?
Maharaj, would Prahlad Maharaj be an example?
Yes, certainly, Prahlad Maharaj. He is the example. He's simply remembering Krishna in every situation. He simply remembers Krishna, wherever he is, whatever's happening. He's not praying to Krishna to save him, but he's remembering Krishna. Okay, someone else?
What about Jada Bharat? When he's being insulted by King Rahugana, he's remembering the philosophy that's given by the Lord in the scriptures.
Yes. Yeah, interesting. Jada Bharat. He was indifferent to... He took the job as a palanquin carrier for Maharaj Rahugan. He didn't really want to carry, but he just did it anyway. Oh, they've taken me, I should do it. And then he was carrying the palanquin at the same time, didn't want to walk on the insects. And so it became a rocky ride for Maharaj Rahugan, and he got angry and threatened to beat Jada Bharat. And then Jada Bharat revealed his actual position. Maharaj Rahugan was thinking he was just an imbecile. He thought he was just an uneducated, stupid person. But then Jada Bharat began to speak the highest philosophy. And then Maharaj Rahugan understood that, oh, this is a very great soul. And Maharaj Rahugan became repentant and fell at his feet and begged forgiveness and asked him where he got that knowledge from. Yes. I was thinking of the example, I was thinking this story about Vasudeva, the leper in Chaitanya Lila. There was this, the leper Vasudeva, who was a Brahmana, and his body was riddled with leprosy, and the worms were eating his flesh. And if one of the worms fell out from his body, he would pick it up and put it back in his body. And it happened that Lord Chaitanya came there, and Lord Chaitanya embraced him. And when Lord Chaitanya embraced him, his whole body became rejuvenated, and he became transformed, and his body became free of leprosy, and he became very healthy. But Vasudeva was not happy to see this change in his body. And Vasudeva said to Lord Chaitanya, he said that now my body is healthy. He said, maybe I can have problems with the material world, and I'll think about sense gratification. So what did Lord Chaitanya tell him to do? Yeah? Someone? What did Lord Chaitanya say he had to do to protect himself from Maya? Anybody?
Not sure, Maharaj.
Have you read the story? You know the story in Chaitanya Charitamrita?
I haven't quite got there yet, Maharaj.
No? Anyway, Lord Chaitanya was in South India, and this one Brahmana had leprosy, and the worms were eating his body. And so he had come to see Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Chaitanya had gone. But somehow, miraculously, Lord Chaitanya returned. And Lord Chaitanya returned, and he saw this leper Vasudeva there, and he embraced him. And the leper Vasudeva's body all became transformed. It all became effulgent and healthy and rejuvenated. But the leper Vasudeva was not happy. He said, now it will be difficult for me. He said, I can be drawn into Maya and I can think about sense gratification. When I had leprosy, there was no question of sense gratification because I was in such a diseased condition. But now my body's healthy and rejuvenated, I may be inclined to sense gratification. All right? When you have a healthy body, you think more about sense gratification. When you're sick and diseased, then you're not so inclined. So, what's the solution? Lord Chaitanya... Huh? Yes?
Chant incessantly. Hare Krishna.
Yes, what did you say, Mataji?
Chant incessantly. Hare Krishna Mahamudra.
Chanting, yeah, you have to become... Lord Chaitanya told the leper Vasudeva, you have to preach. He said, you should preach Krishna conscious, preach about devotional service to Krishna, to everyone, and constantly chant the holy name. He said, that will protect you from Maya, if you're constantly preaching. So it's not that, you have to be sick, you have to be diseased to be out of Maya. All right? So, Lord Vishnu is continuing to preach to Maharaj Prithu, and he's telling him about the importance of cultivating knowledge. You can see in text number 12, my devotee who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. So Prabhupada in the purport raises a question, right? It's important for us to see how Prabhupada raises these kind of questions, because Prabhupada knows there's going to be questions, people will have arguments about this. So the question may be raised, if a living entity has to act as the superintendent of the activities of the bodily combination, how can it be indifferent to the activities of the body? Right? You're responsible for the body. So how can you be indifferent to the activities of the body? If you're the superintendent, it means you're responsible, you're taking care of the body. So how are you going to be indifferent? So Prabhupada answers, he said, the answer is given here. These activities are completely different from the activities of the spirit soul of the living entity. And Prabhupada goes on to give an example. And he talks about the businessman who is in the car, and the businessman's in the car, he's going to work, and he's thinking about his business all the time, but he's riding in the car. And while he's riding in the car, he knows everything about the car. He knows, oh, does the car, has it got enough petrol? Has the car, did he check the battery? Has he put enough water in the battery? And what about the tire pressure? He's thinking like that, but at the same time, he's a businessman. So he doesn't really have any connection with the car. He's just sitting there. He's not driving it. But he knows about it. It's his car. So he knows about it, but he's got a driver. In India, most people have like that. They get a driver to drive for them, and they will simply sit there, and they're on the phone all the time. They call people because they have to do their business. So in the same way, we're in the body. We're in the body. We have to live in the body. We have to take care of the body. But we know we're not the body. We're working. We're doing our service for Krishna. We do our chanting. At the same time, we have a material body. We have to take care some things of the body. You have to do so many things for the body. Bathing the body, dressing the body, so many things. Sometimes even exercise for the body. So we're not the body, but we have to live in that body. So we take care of it. So there are different kinds of processes for spiritual advancement. And Prabhupada goes on, he talks about the karmis. They engage in the activities of the body. Their aim is to give comfort to the body. That's just simply the karmi. And the jnani, he's doing philosophical speculation, trying to understand the Brahman, try to come to the spiritual platform, sometimes even do yoga. You get the yogis, pranayama, nose-pressing yoga. So bhukti mukti siddhikami sakale ashanta Krishna bhakta niskam sa esha shanta. Bhukti mukti siddhikami sakale ashanta. None of these people are peaceful. Bhukti, those with material desires like the karmi. Mukti, the jnani wants mukti. Siddhi, the yogi wants siddhi. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami, and the materialist wants sense gratification. None of them are peaceful. They all have some material desires. Krishna bhakti niskam sa isha shanta. Only the devotee is peaceful. The devotee can remain transcendental. So in this way, Lord Vishnu is encouraging Maharaj Prithu. He said, keep yourself always equipoised, treat people equally, whether they are greater than you, in the intermediate stage, or lower than you. Do not be disturbed by temporary distress or happiness. Control your mind and senses. Try to execute your duty as king in whatever condition of life you may be posted by my arrangement. For your only duty here is to give protection to the citizens of your kingdom. So in this way, Lord Vishnu is giving very important instructions to Maharaj Prithu, right? That he has to protect the citizens. That's important. As a Kshatriya king, he has to take care of the people under him. So Prithu Maharaj has been giving instructions by Lord Vishnu, just like Arjuna got instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada quotes Bhagavad Gita, Vaya Vasayatmika Buddhi. Every man's duty is to receive orders from Krishna or from his bona fide representative and take these orders as his life and soul without personal consideration. Every man's duty is to receive orders from Lord Krishna or from his bona fide representative. All right, can you think of some examples? Who took orders, made their order their life and soul without personal consideration? Please give me some examples.
Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada,
What order did he get? What
To
order?
preach in English language,
Preach in
the
English?
science of
Okay,
the Western country.
okay.
went to America at the advanced age.
Well, that wasn't an order.
Okay.
Print books.
Yes. What was the order?
Srila Prabhupada said, told him that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj told Srila Prabhupada, if you get money, print books. So he.
If you ever get money, use it to print books. Right. Okay, good. All right. What about some other people besides Srila Prabhupada? Don't tell me Srila Prabhupada was the only one who got order from his guru and followed it. There are many examples. To receive orders from Lord Krishna or from his bona fide representative. Think about it. Somebody else?
Arjuna followed Krishna's advice and fought the Kurukshetra war.
What did Krishna tell him?
Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says many times that you should fight.
Huh?
Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that you should
I thought
fight.
Krishna left it up to Arjuna to decide what he wanted to do.
Yes, Maharaj. In the end, he says that you can do whatever you. Yeah.
6 Goswamis, Maharaj.
Huh?
6 Goswamis.
What?
All the 6 Goswamis, they followed the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they left all the things and went to Vrindavan to execute the orders of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj following the instructions given to him by Narada.
What instructions particularly?
In terms of how to worship or remember or meditate upon the Supreme Lord. Of course, initially he tried to discourage him in order to test his sincerity and determination, but then later on he initiated him into the 12-syllable mantra and gave him instructions on how to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay. Yet he told him, first he told him, go to Mahavan.
Yeah.
Gave him a place, said you go there, and he told him, take bath 3 times a day. And he gave mantra also to chant. So he gave a lot of instructions. And Dhruva was very faithful. He followed everything. And he got the result. Yes? Okay. Okay.
The Prachetas were instructed by Lord Chaitanya, by Lord Shiva, to be united in their bhajan when they went underwater to do austerities.
Prachetas, yes, they cooperated. They cooperated nicely with each other, right? They had good cooperation. that was appreciated. They didn't fight.
Regarding
Usually you get brothers, you know, they'll fight with each other, quarrel with each other, they cannot get along. Especially, you know, if the father has a business and then the brothers, you know, they will argue about the money and how to use it and how to develop the business. So the Prachetas, they worked together. That was their success. Yes. Okay. Something else?
Maharaj, how about this Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave order to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that your Guru Maharaj is Gaurkishore Das Babaji? Is there an order?
Okay. Yes. Bhaktivinoda Thakur told him you have to take initiation. So he told him who's qualified. He said, well, this one is qualified. Gaurkishore Das Babaji was qualified. Yes.
Brigari was instructed by Narad Muni
Who?
to Brigari.
Mrigarari, the hunter. Okay. Yes, he got the hunter to stop killing animals. He got him to chant. He got him to sit by the tulsi tree. Okay. So he took the order seriously. Yes?
Uddhav,
Huh?
Uddhav can Lord Krishna earlier he was Uddhavji, he was not a devotee, he was like not a pure devotee, or when Lord Krishna asked him to go to Vrindavan and meet the Radharani and gopis, and he changed.
Okay. Uddhav, I don't know if that's exactly true, that he went to Vrindavan and he changed, but he certainly got inspired by seeing the gopis and from the association of the gopis. He appreciated their love for Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
Using the same example, Uddhava, after Lord Krishna's departure from this earth, after he finishes pastimes, he followed the instructions of Krishna himself and went to Badrikashrama to preach Krishna consciousness to the rishis and Narnarayana Rishi in Badrikashrama.
Yes, very good. Yes. After the Lord departed, Uddhava had to take, he had been given that instruction by Lord Krishna, right? Good. Similarly, also Hanuman. What was Hanuman's order from Lord Rama?
To stay here on earth.
Yes, right. Hanuman, he was told he should stay, he shouldn't go back to the spiritual world. He didn't get to go with Lord Rama back to the spiritual world. Hanuman is in, where is it? He's in a place near Mount Meru. Kimpurusha.
Yeah, Kimpurusha.
Kimpurusha, yeah. I think. So Hanuman, he got that order from Lord Ramachandra. He followed it.
Yeah, Prabhupada's also given us the instruction to cooperate with one another. How well we're doing that, I'm not sure, but we're trying.
Lord Chaitanya gave the order to Nityananda and Haridas, the famous order, Prati Gari Gari Gira Koro E Bhiksha Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shiksha. He told them to go to every door, every gully, every place, knock on the door and tell people, chant the name of Krishna, worship Krishna, and study the books about Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya told Haridas and Lord Nityananda like that. And they did, and they went to even to Jagai and Madhai and got them to chant, tried to make them devotees. And Lord Chaitanya told the Brahmana from Kurmadesh. The Brahmana from Kurmadesh wanted to go with Lord Chaitanya. He wanted to leave home. But Lord Chaitanya gave him instruction and told him, Yari deki tarikaho Krishna upadesh, amar agay guruhana tara edesh. He told him, wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna. And in this way you become a spiritual teacher. He said, you don't have to leave home. He said, you won't get my associate. He said, if you do like this, you follow this instruction, then you'll always have my association. And then also Lord Chaitanya gave instruction to Raghunath, that Raghunath wanted to leave home. And Lord Chaitanya told him, no, he said, just stay at home. He said, don't be a sahaja. Don't take everything cheaply. Just simply go home and behave like a normal person and keep Krishna in your heart. And in time, at least in time, in the future, when the time is right, then you will be able to leave home. And Raghunath did it. Raghunath wanted to, he was always running away from home, but then he met Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya told him, you just stay at home. Don't be sahaja. So he took the order very seriously. Right? So taking the orders from the spiritual authority is very important. Just like when we get initiation, at that time the spiritual master may give you some order. Well, of course, we promise, we ourselves promise to chant 16 rounds and follow principles. So these orders are important. Prabhupada writes, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that one should not care very much whether he is going to be liberated or not, but he should simply execute the direct order received from the spiritual master. If one sticks to the principle of abiding by the order of the spiritual master, he will always remain in a liberated position. So the order of the spiritual masters, it's our life and soul. So we're trying to continue in that way, as Prabhupada was given instructions. We're trying to continue this, applying the same principles Srila Prabhupada gave us. Okay. All right, so we'll take a break here. Let's have a 10-minute break. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.